Hello, good morning. Welcome to Morning Briefing on Aspheric TV. I am El-Rufai and my co-host.
My name is Dabir Gifts. Welcome to the morning briefing.
Yeah, well, let's go to what we have for today. I'll begin with the Nigerian newspaper's daily front pages review. We'll start with The Punch. Subsidy Nigerians to spend 6.7 trillion naira on fuel in 2022. NLC Senate votes 5,000 naira palliative. The Punch leads with the reports that Nigerians will spend about 6.732 trillion naira on the purchase of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol or fuel. Within a period of 12 months once the federal government stops subsidizing the commodity from February next year. Investigations have revealed. Now, The Guardian. COVID-19 December 1st deadline, only 3% eligible Nigerians fully vaccinated. Well, The Guardian reports that with less than a week to the December 1 deadline for COVID-19 vaccine mandate for federal civil servants, figures released yesterday by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, shows that a paltry 3% of the eligible population have been fully vaccinated, despite assurances by government of the availability of sufficient vaccines. Now, Vanguard. Senate disagrees with federal government. NLC TUC threaten shuts down. The Senate, Trade Union, Congress, TUC, and experts yesterday disagreed with the federal government plan to review fuel subsidy next year and replace it with a 5,000 naira monthly transport grant to 40 million Nigerians. Vanguard says. Over to you, Gift.
Alright, next, the Nation newspaper. The headline there says, Labour rejects proposed petrol price hike by government. According to the Nation, Labour yesterday rejected the proposed hike in pump price of fuel to 340 naira per litre next year. The Daily Trust newspaper says, FG Mall's 2.4 trillion palliative as 1.8 trillion annual subsidy goes. According to the Daily Trust, the federal government is planning to spend 2.4 trillion under the transport palliative scheme to cushion the effect of the planned removal of oil subsidy proposed for next year. The Daily Independent newspaper headline says, we can't control threats in our cyberspace. Stakeholders say internet security in Nigeria too open for invasion. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos on Wednesday presented a budget estimate of 1 trillion for 2022 to the House of Assembly, with infrastructure and education taking a large chunk of it, Daily Independent reports. Alright, we'll go on a short break. By the time we come back, we'll discuss details of this newspaper headlines with you. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. Right now, we're talking about the roundup of top newspapers headlines in Nigeria for today. The governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, has warned the people of the state Kaduna State against casting their votes for some group of politicians in 2023. He also warned the people of the states not to casting their votes for PDP. I mean, well, how do you see that? It sounds somehow.
Well, I think it's not right to come out that way and just completely talk down another party and even give names of individuals for the people of the state not to vote. Now, I don't know the reasons for this, for calling out these people and then asking the people of Kaduna State to not vote for these people. There was a statement he made saying that if the people of Kaduna State votes PDP into power, it's going to
the achievement and progress already recorded in the state
it's going to ruin all of that. Now, I don't know how sure he is that is going to happen. I don't know what if the PDP provide credible candidates that are going to probably move the state forward. Now, I don't know the reasons for these allegations or this talk, but I think it's left for the people to decide who they vote for.
To decide.
Yeah, even though you can actually influence the minds of people to vote certain candidates, but I don't think this is the right way to do it. The governor also said he will provide, hopefully, he will provide a credible successor for the 2023 election. I think we should wait and see who that is going to be.
They have their right to choose whosoever they want as their leader.
Yes, definitely. This is not him imposing it. I think this is just a form of coercion.
It seems making it a family affair of a thing. I'm the father, so I can actually tell you people who is right for you and who is not right.
Yeah, that's what the governor seems to be doing. I mean, it's okay to want to root for his government, for his party, if I could call it that, but I don't think this is the right way to do it.
Very, very wrong.
But it's left for the people of Kaduna to decide who they vote for. So.
Well, the World Bank has urged the Nigerian government to end its fuel subsidy regime within the next 6 months. Well, according to reports, the federal government has spent at least $2.1 billion, about 864 million naira at 410 naira per dollar on full subsidies in the first 9 months of 2021. It is understood that the World Bank's appeal is coming days after International Monetary Fund, IMF, they've asked Nigeria to cut off oil and electricity subsidies by early 2022. And really, so many agencies have really been talking about this, how that some are saying it is good, and while some are not really comfortable with that. According to what you've read, how do you see this?
This is coming with the whole plan to increase fuel price by next year, 2022. Yeah. I don't know how possible all of this is going to be. I don't know what plans they have in place to make this work. So I can't really say much about this because I think it's left for... This is a Nigerian issue. And then the World Bank, I don't think they just get to tell Nigerian government how to run these things. I mean, they would work based on what they have, let's say funds they have. So I think this is left for the Nigerian government though to decide what they get to do.
Aside that, they've also said, the federal government has said that they will also provide transportation grants, about 5,000 naira to the poorest Nigerians. I mean,
okay.
And it's going to go for about 6 months to a year. And
this is the issue I have. They said about 20 to 40 million Nigerians. Meanwhile, there's an estimated number of 90 million poor people in Nigeria. So this is like meeting not up to half the people, not up to half the poor people, the population of poor people in Nigeria. So I don't know how this is going to be. Is it that they are going to switch, maybe give this amount of poor people the 5,000 naira for a particular number of months, and then in the next half, because he said 6 to 12 months, is it that the first 6 months they give half of the poor people the 5,000, and then the next month?
My concern is after a year, what next?
What happens?
Yes. After a year, what next?
Okay, I think it's the plan. The plan they have is for the whole increment in fuel price to be temporary. So probably this 5,000 is going for the period of time.
You think that will be possible in Nigeria when we begin something? I mean, it's like forever.
But
it continues for long.
Again, who are the poor people? Who are the poorest of the poor? How do they meet these people? Is there like statistics, like something. We don't have a proper documentation in this country already. So how do we know these people, and how does this money meet them?
Well, this will bring me to what I would like to say now. The Minister of Finance, that's Mrs. Zainab, said that they will disburse the money through e-naira. I mean, electronic,
that's using
yes.
people's bank accounts.
So, poorest Nigerians,
they have bank accounts?
How many of them have that?
Mm.
Don't you think it's going to cause more corruption? We have so much corruption in Nigeria already, and this will help corruption more.
Corruption to thrive.
I'll actually read what the National President of Oil and Gas Service Providers Association of Nigeria, that's OGSP, and Mazi Kulman Obasi said.
Okay.
He said the implementation will bring about corruption, and I agree with him. According to him, he said it makes sense to deregulate and downstream sector for improved stability. It will also attract serious investors into the sector. I mean, the subsidy. Like he said, but paying 5,000 naira to 40 million Nigerians would not make sense, as it brings about corruption. The government should look at other ways of implementing Nigeria's and the nation's economy. I totally agree with this man.
Okay.
Because how many people are you going to disburse this money to? We've had records of money being given.
And it doesn't
yes,
get
and
to
it doesn't
the
get to
people
the people
it was intended for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happens. That's been added to the budget. It's not been
the
included.
Minister of Finance said it will come from the
Federation's account. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that plays out.
And again, you want to say something?
Yeah, mainly about the poor people, how the whole thing is going to get to them. I don't know. And I'm concerned though, will 5,000 naira actually cover a person's transportation for a month? I don't know the irony behind that. Because if you're going to increase fuel price, the price of transportation is going to go up. Already, I think 5,000 is a meager amount of money for transportation now. What happens when the transportation increases? Will 5,000 still be feasible then?
I don't know. Well, and someone said, the immediate past chairman, Major Marketers Association of Nigeria, Moman Adetunji Oyebanji, he has called for a more realistic project to be created rather than the planned 5,000 naira distribution to the poorest Nigerians.
I think so too. I agree with him because, in fact, I think the whole increment should be avoided. Like, if there's a way that they could just stabilize the whole fuel thing and then stabilize the price rather than planning to increase and then giving people 5,000. And the whole estimate of it getting to 40 million people does not even cover half the population of poor people.
Yeah.
So I think a better option is to stabilize the petroleum price. Like, avoid the hike, the increase in the price rather than this whole plan of giving 5,000 naira to people.
Well, he also suggested that the fund should be taken to transport buses so that Nigerians can pay less fare.
Okay.
Like BRT buses.
Does that mean the BRT drivers get this money instead? If that's how it's going to work, then people should get free transportation using these buses then, if that's how it's going to be, instead of paying money again, transport fare again.
No, I think what's trying to say is that when they inject the money into transport buses like BRTs, those big buses that we have, the red buses, the blue buses, I think the Nigerians will pay lesser.
Transport fare rather than yes.
So
well,
I think
it makes some sense.
But I hope the federal government will be able to look into that. It's not that bad. Rather than giving 5,000 naira to Nigerians,
Yeah, the whole
monthly.
fuel price increment thing is going to take a huge toll on people. Like,
And it's going to affect so many things.
yeah, it will affect a lot.
It's going to affect so many businesses. So it's not just about poor Nigerians or what
It's
will
going to
others.
affect all of us.
I mean, what will
basically.
others do?
Let's hope the whole thing is reviewed. And
Come to
then-
think of it, who are the poorest Nigerians?
Yeah, exactly.
What do they mean when they say poorest Nigerians? I mean, I try to lay my back on the seat and think about it. What's it? What do they mean by poorest Nigerians? Is it just those people in the rural area alone, or those people in the slum and all? There's so many people that are not even in the slum, that's that in
issue
the
is
city,
that
and they are so poor.
This poorest of the poorest, I'd say we don't actually have access to them, because these people don't have bank accounts, they don't have ID cards, they don't have, I'd say they have little or no form of identification.
And what do they know about e-Naira?
Exactly. So how do you get to these people? That is a big problem. So I hope they review this whole thing, the whole 5,000 naira thing, and then even if they decide on that in the end, I hope it gets to the actual poor people who need this money.
But I don't think it's going to get to the actual poor people.
Yeah, that's why we are hoping,
because
it
this
does
is,
get to
aside
them.
from this being Nigeria, it happens all around the world. You give out money to agencies to disburse the money to people, and at the end of the day, we find the same agency cutting corners to have part of the money to themselves and giving not everyone that needs to have the money. So it's not just about Nigeria. It's a human mindset and all, corruption.
Yeah,
so
it
it's not
happens
good.
all the time.
It's not
but
good.
We hope. That's why we are hoping.
We hope
they do the right thing.
we
this
hope
time
they
around.
do not. I hope they do not agree. I hope they do not agree to that 5,000. I hope they put it somewhere else that will benefit Nigerians.
Or they find better alternatives
Yes.
to the problem.
Please. Right now, thank you for staying with us. Right now, we'll call this
A day.
a day. Thank you for staying with us. I am Dayo Lujimon.
I'm Daburu Gift. See you next time.
Thank you. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification button. Thank you. Bye. It's like 20 minutes.